Blue of Hip Hop Inquirer, chilling with Juan G. How you doing,
What's up, my brother? How are you?
I'm good, man.
Good to see you after all this time, brother.
No doubt, no doubt. You got the new single with Ross, man, Rich Together. Let's talk about that, man.
Rich Together is an amazing platform for my career. If everyone knows Rick Ross, the boss, Ricky Rose, you know, Rick Ross is a boss. He's unbelievable. And we know that what he's done in the music business, and as a businessman, a socialite, and as an entrepreneur, he brings a lot to the table. And we're able to have the opportunity to work together on this record. So it's been a blessing, and Rich Together now is on over 40 radio stations. By the next 2 to 3 months, Lord willing, you'll be on about 80 stations. So it's a great movement right now in the fourth quarter.
So you were speaking about with Ross, similar to you, a lot of people don't know, you have employed a lot of people. And you have been successful on the independent circuit for almost 10 years, and people don't know. You hear a lot of people talking about the hustling and getting it, but you actually did it.
Yeah, you know what? I've only learned from my forefathers in the entertainment and entrepreneurial business. We were talking about the other day to my brother Mick Henry. We were talking about, like, you know, a lot of the great ones that came way before I was even born. There's been a lot of successful Africans in this country, and there's been a lot of, you know, entrepreneurial ones who have done very well. And to me, the word entrepreneur doesn't mean making money. For me, at least, what being an entrepreneur means is taking a leadership role and creating a concept and defining who you are. Freedom within self is entrepreneur. So again, Rick Ross is one of those individuals that I look up to tremendously, not because of his evaluation or his account balance or how much money he makes a year. It's his philosophy, it's his mentality.
Okay. I noticed you had the single last year, I Can't Sleep. And what I remembered it like when I heard it is, it's kind of what you were doing before. My next question is, do you feel timing is a big part of things? Because no disrespect to anybody, but your whole style was pre-Flow Rider, before we had a Flow Rider. But the industry wasn't at that at the time. You know what? Put 'em up, bang, bang, gangster. But you still did your party ride.
And that's something that really kind of is close to my heart, because being a Haitian, you know, growing up Haitian and being Haitian, and my parents Haitian, but you know, and growing and being here in the States, and like what I always saw, that like I always did things my way, right? And I thought dance music was a progressive thing happening, and I saw that the street hip hop, the gangster hip hop, was a different language, and it was saying something different, but it was all coming from community, right? It was the voice of the community. And me, I was a guy that always liked to have fun. I was someone who always liked to dance and be in up-tempo music. So the whole Flow Rider lane, and what I did with Rapture with Paris Hilton, you know, what I did with I Can't Sleep at Night, was just, you know, a derivative of European hip-hop music with beat and dance. And instead of me telling a story about how upset or what I'm going through or what I'm gonna do to you, it was much more about, like, let's have a good time and, you know, let's enjoy this moment.
But you kind of took that money from the music and went to a whole lot of other revenues from your fashion line. You got a hair salon or something?
Yeah, I got 3 salons back in LA now, and that are really cool, but that are upscale. So my salons are branded, so they're not just like a hole in the wall. If you saw the salon in LA, you would see the same salon in New York. It's very branded.
What brought that about? And especially, none of it is tied to the actual rap. All your business seems to...
I keep them away. I keep them away.
And I think a lot of artists could learn a lot from you, especially from a business perspective.
Well, I'm so happy that kind of you know that kind of like information, because I think it's important for any individual who's making revenue or collecting money or building a business to diversify at a certain point. And for me, I was always like, I don't want to live by rap and die by rap. I need to be more than music. Not that music is not enough, but I need to diversify. I need to look at other things. People say, well, don't be a jack of all trades, master of none. And I believe you can be a jack of all trades and master of all of them, right? Because now, not saying all of them will do well. Some companies are going to fall apart. Some are not going to do well. But that's the cost of doing business. Not everything you're going to do is going to be successful, right? And so for me, I was able to create cost drivers that made me money on an independent level. And I was able to look, well, what is $1? I'll never forget my grandfather said, he says, $1 is $7. And I said, why? He said, if you make $1 wholeheartedly profit-wise, so you can borrow $7 off of it. So he said, really, whatever money you make is the lending power is what's important. What can you borrow off that money to build more businesses? So that's why I started getting involved in small business in America and small business in our community. And I believe if I could find entrepreneurs who can run who are in an industry, and I can invest in that company for them, then we can grow. And so I did a lot of that. I've been doing a lot of that recently with my company. Real Savage has been investing in fashion stores, in gas stations, in salons, in hoverboards and technology. I'm spreading the wealth to finding a happy medium to be entrepreneurial.
Okay. Now this is more of a common sense question. I see you got the jewelry on, but you got a lot of rappers, that's the first thing they buy.
Yeah.
Would you tell them to make some of those investments that you made first?
Look, listen, the bottom line is gold is a commodity, right? So, and I know in the hip hop community, we wear gold really lavishly. And gold could be looked at if you look at it from the outside, well, wow, these guys are buying a lot of jewelry with their money. I happen to like jewelry, really, and there's days I wear jewelry, there's days I don't wear jewelry, there's days I wear a suit and tie, there's days I don't wear a suit and tie. But I always say to artists who are thriving and starting to become financially successful in the business, buy your first home. I always tell people, buy your first home. I always tell artists, don't buy an expensive car, buy a piece of property, buy land. Because here in America, you don't become an American until you own a piece of property. And so I always push young entrepreneurs, instead of going to buy the $500,000 Rolls Royce or buying the $1 million boat, buy your first home. Have ownership in a piece of property. And so I try to tell artists that this stuff is fun. I love jewels, and it's great, it's a part of the image, but it shouldn't be everything. There should be other things that we have that create value. So I've just put a range of producers around me, and we're writing, and people are sending me songs and this and that, and we're not pushing the record like we have to have an album done by this date. We all know that the business is controlled by singles today.
Right, okay.
It's a singles game today, right? Who cares?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Nobody cares about buying your album if your singles don't do well. You know what I mean? So for me, I got to get back to the basics. I got to make sure that if I'm going to put out music, I'm going to put out music that's right, and the music is going to be commercially right. And when I mean commercially right, I don't mean that I'm following commercial trend, but I'm not in the music business just to be creative. I'm in the music business to be fiscal, to make money, because it's the music business. So why not work with all the greats right now that are making a ton of money in this business, and at my age, adapt to that new young cat who's 21 or 22, who's hungry, that's from Memphis or Atlanta or New Orleans or Georgia, who got that record in here. Hey, Juan, you need to say it like this. Juan, you need this music, right? And that's the only way to stay relevant. If you don't follow the youth and you don't listen to the youth, and the culture, not gonna grow. Like Flex, my man Flex took me to meet I Heart Memphis, and I Heart Memphis has a record called Hit the Quan, and that record right now is one of the biggest charting records. And when you see this kid's a dance record, right? Right. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? You familiar with the record?
Yep.
And this kid's record's blowing up, you know what I mean? And young people love it, and they support him. So what I mean by that is that it's to listen to others and not be foolish, because you got to realize that from when I started in this business to where I'm at now, I'm still hip and cool, but a lot has changed. Okay? And so the way young people perceive content today, it's so fast. The news today, by the time CNN gets something, it's already old because somebody's tweeted it, right? It's like the news ain't the news is the catch up. They're catching up to because if something happens right now in Syria, or something happens right now in Egypt, if a terrorism attack happens in Israel, it's going to be on Twitter before we all know it. So I think with content, you have to approach music and everything else the same way. Okay. It's evolving so quickly and moving so fast that what is really new? Because, as you know, right when Drake's record's #1, there's some kid in his basement doing a record that's going to be #1 3 weeks later. That's how this industry works. So I try to be less competitive and much more productive. Okay. So I'm trying to pull myself out of competition, if that sounds a little weird or not. I'm trying to not compete, but I'm competing, but I'm not competing. I'm like, maybe I'm confused, right? I don't know, right? I'm in a place where I'm like, all right, let's just do great product. Because if you have great product, and I was joking about it being saying I'm confused, I'm just playing. If you have great product People find great product if you're good. If you do a great suit, McHenry, if you do a great suit, you're gonna like love the suit because it's a great. It doesn't have to be Gucci. It doesn't have to be Armani or Versace. A great thing is a great thing.
Thank you for checking in with Hip Hop Inquirer, bro.
Yo, what's up? This is Juan G, Hip Hop Inquirer, baby. You know how we do it.